Prejumping is one of the most useful and unspoken techniques in competitive Rocket League. Although it's controversial, prejumps are used constantly by pro teams to help teams gain an advantage over the other. In this video, I'll be showing you how to implement this skill with a focus on how it can strengthen your defense at the highest level of Rocket League. Before we begin, I wanted to quickly plug my Twitch channel as I'm streaming daily around 9 PM BST most evenings. If you wanted to ask questions or watch some top 100 play, head on over, the link will be in the description. Prejumping is done by players to predict and intercept threats before they actually happen. When the opponents have control, you always want your first man to create pressure, whether that's through a challenge or just positional pressure. In high-level Rocket League, the sky is quite literally the limit, meaning players are getting much more confident in predicting and intercepting aerial plays. To start us off, let's look at the most common situation you'll ever see a prejump used in. Your team has lost to a back left or a back right kickoff, and your first and second man cannot apply pressure with no boost. What do you do as a team? Who should be the one to apply pressure, and when do they get to apply that pressure? If nobody commits themselves, you've effectively got 3 last men, and even with good option coverage, it could be impossible to make a save. Here's where the prejump comes in. Even if you fail to read the play, so long as your prejump covers the net, the opponent will be forced to go above or below you, reducing the threat of a goal. Prejumps are used in all sorts of defensive situations, and they pretty much serve the same purpose as shadow defense. You have to try and pressure your opponent into losing possession so that your teammates behind can easily follow up. When shadow defending, you should only challenge when it's safe to do so or when a teammate behind you can directly follow up, and the exact same rule applies to prejumps. Instead of challenging head-on in a rough spot as fast as possible, sometimes it's good to hover in a position until it's safer to get a touch in. In the background are a few examples of prejumps used purely to pressure the opponents. In all of them, whether or not contact is actually made is irrelevant, because they force the opponents to concede control in the long term. Unfortunately, if you're without comms, it can be difficult to work out which defender should prejump in a situation. In my opinion, the player who is best positioned to support a challenge should always stay back. Let's move on to prejumps used to intercept. The most common place you'll see these used is to intercept solo plays from the wall. Although there isn't usually a direct threat from these attacks, they are extremely predictable and so usually worth diving for. Most attackers on the wall with boost only have one vision, and that's the net. If you can predict how they'll get there off the wall, you might win yourself a free dunk and an opportunity downfield. To take this idea to an extreme, you can also prejump aerial passing plays. To be honest, I'd only ever advise trying this if you're 100% confident and it's not really worth the risk. Once again, it's only worth doing this if there's players behind you to support you directly. As one final note for defensive prejumps, if you are slower to the ball than the opponents and can't recover, always play for the dunk. You never know what might happen.
Right across. And just waiting for the tatty little boomstick already. Prejump for the double, the kiss of death in game 2 by Stick.
Now it's time to talk about the future of the Rocket League competitive meta. It's unreasonable as a defender to prejump a passing play, because you can't be absolutely certain of where the ball is going or what the opponents are doing. If you're the guys attacking, you can communicate exactly what you want to do and make it happen. If you've ever come up against pros in ranks, you'll see prejumps left, right and centre because there is no punishment for trying crazy plays other than a few MMR loss. Offensive prejumps are starting to get used in pro level play, but it's an all-in play that can destroy your rotational support if it goes wrong. Personally, I think that infield prejumps could become a future competitive meta. Similarly to other routine plays, all it takes is practice and full confidence in your team to get one step ahead of the competition. If you have learned anything from this video, make sure to subscribe to keep up to date with future content. I'm new to all this content creation stuff, so if you do have any feedback, please drop it down in the comments below. Before I go, I'll leave you guys with some of the best prejump plays sent to me by my Twitter community.